Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Inside the Minds of the Bozos, the Winstanley and Stewart showcasing. Today, we're going to go over their idea of getting Duran. I think I'm saying that right, Jhon Duran. First, I'm going to go through my opinions on the guy. I'm going to go through some of the statistics that this guy had, the small sample size that this guy had. And then I'm going to also tell you the thought process behind why Winstanley and Stewart are going for a guy that has scored 5-6 goals. First and foremost, my thought process behind this, don't do it. That's the thought process. Don't do it. There's no reason for me to think anything other than that. For me, there's no reason for you to go and get a guy who's 22. We already have a guy who's 22, who's a project, who showed us he can be streaky. There's no reason to put faith in someone, put that much pressure into another guy who's around that same age. There's no reason. Absolutely none. You should be looking in the age range of 24, 25, 26. Plain simple. But some of the names they've brought up, not impressive. I think the other name was Dominic Solanke. Missed me with that. I honestly would rather just see what Dr. Fofana can do than either of these guys personally. But on to what Winstanley and these Bozos, Winstanley and Stewart, the Bozos. I'm going to consistently call them Bozos, so I don't have to say their names. So during this time and during this series that I'm going to be doing, I'm just going to they're going to be called Bozos. So fair warning, if you want to know who the Bozos are, Winstanley and Stewart. Now to the statistics, we're going to use footy stats for this. I just like footy stats. We could use FootMob if you guys want to use a different stat board. I don't mind that. I've been using footy stats for a while. So first and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to go over just what his overall contributions are, goals and assists first and foremost, which everybody wants to know, right? Like, what can this guy do for us? He's going to be our striker. What can he do for us? Now, obviously, what Winstanley and Stewart, the Bozos, last time I called their name out, what these Bozos want is going to be a statistic-driven. It's going to be very statistic-driven. So, if, for instance, what ends up happening when you are very statistic-driven is you look at anomalies, okay? So the big thing that you got to kind of look at when you're looking at these stats is what is the sample size with these stats? At the bottom here is what you see at the bottom here is going to be a banner of what the sample size of what Jhon Duran played this year. He was a bit part player. Right? So, Joe, why would we want a bit part player? It's a great question. Great question. 454 minutes and 9 games. Now, a lot of the times what ends up happening is with these bit part players is it ends up being a stretch of 10, 15 games where they actually do play, a.k.a. Nicholas Jackson's fantastic example of this. And he has a fantastic run of games, okay? That fantastic run of games skews the data just a bit based off of because he was a bit part player before that run of games that he came in, that purple patch that the English, it's the English term for it, the purple patch that they would have. And the data gets a bit skewed. Now, Nicholas Jackson's probably out of all of what Nicholas Jackson did, data had, it was skewed specifically directed towards his finishing because he had a streak of like 11 or 12 goals in like a 14-game time frame or a 13-game time frame. Now, with this it's a kind of a similar situation, except he never had his run of games. So this is strictly off of bit part time. We're talking he actually played a total of 23 matches, but if you put the total of minutes together, 454 minutes, if you divide it by 90, it's about 5 games. It's not 9 games. It's about 5 games. Excuse me. Let me edit that. Sorry about that. So it's about 5 games total. Okay, so keep that in mind when we're looking at these statistics, right? So goals scored 5 in 5 games, total minutes, right? Goal involvements is 5 goals, 5 games. All right, he had 1 game where he had more than 2 goals and 91 minutes per goal. Okay, so the idea of this is that if he scores a goal a game, right? That's what they're saying. That's what the data is saying. If he's scoring a goal a game, and we give this guy a bigger sample size to accomplish this, say we give him 20-ish, 30 to 25-ish plus games and minutes in total, the sample size should be somewhere around, with that, about 20 goals. Because there is a bit of a difference when you're looking at statistics. You can't totally, you have to adjust the statistic directly to direct. You can't just go directly to what that statistic is. You have to adjust the statistic with the sample size. So you're not going to get a direct number of that 90 minutes, that 91 minute to goal ratio. You're going to get somewhere closer to probably 105 minutes to goal ratio, and event with a bigger sample size of like 25 to 28 goals. I mean, we're talking about multiplying his sample size by 5. So these are things that are going to change when it comes to how many goals he gets. But on average, the guy with these statistics in mind should be scoring around 18 to 20 goals if you give him 25 to 28 games. We have the two domestic tournaments in Conference League. Like, there's no, like, with that in mind, that's what the Bozos are thinking. They're thinking that with the type of sample size that he has, if he has a bigger sample size with these type of statistics, he's going to score more goals. A expected goal of 4. Like, that's over expected goal ratio of 4 on average is actually really good. Now, taking a lot of shots, conversion rates really high. Like, these are all things that like these Bozos are going to be looking at. Like, specifically, like, that's exactly what these Bozos are going to be looking at. Not too great at crossing, but we really shouldn't be needing him in that scenario too often. Now, this is kind of what bothers me. This is what bothers me the most about this, to be honest. He has one of the lowest percentiles in dispossession. So we're going to be playing possession-based football. He better just shoot. That's like all he can do. Because if he's not shooting, he's offsides. From the looks of it, if he's not shooting, he's offsides. But he's only offsides 3 times in 23 games. It's not that bad, I guess. But if you're talking in minutes, that's almost 1 every game. 0.74. That's almost 1 every game. Yeah, I mean, the last thing that I wanted to go over what looked pretty good was the ground duels won, and the ground duels that he had defensively. And then aerial duels, which is very impressive to me to be winning a 96th percentile. Like that's a very, very good stat. Hopefully it translates, right? Like it's all we can do is hope. If we're gonna get this guy, we're gonna have to hope all these stats translate, because that's what they're doing. They're going right by the stats. It makes all the sense. And like this is like as stats driven of a signing as you can get. Plain and simple. There's no like it's as stats driven as a signing as you can get. And for 40 million, you can miss me with that. For 40 million, you can miss me with that. Now, I'd love to hear what everybody thinks. Please leave a comment below about what you think about this. Make sure you like and share the video, and I hope you guys have a great day.